So eventually I had to explain. Nilienda kule kwa auntie, mtu alikuja kuongea nini? And after telling my mother, she didn't like it. Okay? Because she had a focus. She knew only education will take us out of that abject poverty. So she confronted the other ladies. And that's how I was saved from marriage at the age of 13. And today my mother is 96 years old. She's still alive.
Wow.
She's my hero. And the last one, because I have two things that I wanted to share. When I did class 8, I know Vincent talked about Florence going to a prestigious high school, the Alliance. We call it the Alliance.
Yes.
We went to the Alliance.
Absolutely.
I stayed with a lot of pride. But where it started was not that rosy. Because I did class 8 in 1989. Yes, in 1989 I was in class 8. And my brother was in Form 1. So after class 8, well, I was told you will not go to Form 1. So when the results come, you will fit. Because your brother has to finish Form 4 for you to start Form 1. So, but that didn't stop me from doing my best. So I just did my exam, I did well, I read, I prepared, I did, and I said that is it. So come January, I washed my uniforms. Went back to Mwandaza Primary School. And at the very airport, then now let Mr. Kitumbul. And they went and they told the headmaster, my parents have asked me to come and repeat class 6 to allow my brother to complete Form 4 so that now I can start Form 1 because they really want me to go to school. If I stay at home, naweza changanyikiwa, vijana wakanichanganya. I was very beautiful, by the way.
You still are.
So my parents said, go back to school so that you're busy, else this boys will confuse you.
Sure.
So I went. So the headmaster looks at me and says, I am coming to see your parents in the evening. Tomorrow don't come to school. So in the evening he came home and told my parents, E division mzima, she was the best student and she's been called to Alliance. How come we have not come to pick her admission form? And my parents told her, it's okay, you can keep the admission form. Admit her in class 6. Yeah? If she's meant to go to Alliance, after 3 years, she still get Alliance. And the headmaster was very sad and booked an appointment with our area MP then, where I was going to school, because that's where my father was working. Not my real home, but where my father was working. And the MP then was CPA Matthias Care. And we went, booked an appointment, and we trekked with my mother. It's a distance of over 15 kilometers. We walked, we used to walk. So we went and we explained our situation. And he said, okay, I will help you. And I was given a check by none other than Dr. Changa, the owner of Jocham Hospital today. Gave me a personal check of 5,777 shillings. It was the full fees for 1 year. Dr. Chamia paid for me. I've never seen Dr. Chamia. Every time we talk on phone, I've seen him for TV, hapa na pale. He's a prominent person. God bless you, Dr. Chamia. You made me join Form 1 instead of going back to class 6. Wow. So that's how I went to Alliance. And reaching here today, for me, I tell you, I've been patting myself on the back since the day I was cleared to contest for council member in this park. Wow. I said, Florence, you're supposed to have been married 35 years ago. Today, you are not just a CPA. You are not just an accountant. You are not just a deputy registrar. You are actually contesting for a position at the national level of such a prestigious profession.
Wow.
Let me tell you, even documenting my agenda was a struggle. Because I just felt like I had the push, I have the drive. Because God did not take me through all that preserved me, saved me. I believe there is something. There's something much bigger
There is.
that I'm here to fulfill. It's not even about the leadership in this park, by the way. It's not about even being a top, official somewhere. For me, it's not about any of those. I believe that God has an agenda for me to transform, to change, to make better, to make
Amen.
And I walk like Moses, without an AK-47. But with a rod, I go to a road. With a rod, with nothing, I walk. And a lot of challenges here. I'm happy. I'm still reaching to CPAs. With the same poster every day, I'm reaching out to CPAs. Okay. I take an SGR. Yesterday, I took an SGR, third class, to travel to come for this event. I cannot afford a flight because I am educating about 6 girls. And this week, I am paying the school fees to go to school. I cannot afford a flight. They have to go to school. They live in my house. They live in my house. I feed them. I dress them. I take care of them like my children. I told their parents, bring them to me. Okay? I'll bring them to you when they're fully qualified as degree holders, professionals. Just like the way somebody held my hand one day, and today, not only in my mother's house, but in the whole community, and now in East Park.
Wow.
And better still, in the whole country, as a deputy registrar, I've done so much. Not because I want to outshine anybody, but because I believe my life is not just for that. I don't know how many years I have, but I have to make an impact.
Absolutely.
Wow.
As I'm speaking here today, I am actually developing a template for financial reporting for political parties in Kenya for the first time. And I said, Registrar, give me that opportunity. I will chair that committee. I have to make that difference. I have to make that impact. And I'm doing it. So I believe that the manifesto that I'm going to launch today, driven mainly by governance, regulation, inclusivity, responsiveness. There's somebody with a voice.
Sure.
And sometimes the loud voices that we hear may be deafening. But in the middle of that deafening noise, there is somebody whose voice is not being heard. And we ignore them, we disregard them, and they perish. Let's be effectively and meaningfully responsive as an institute. We cannot say that we are loud enough. Are we really loud enough? Have we checked the segments of our members and confirmed everybody's voice is being raised and being heard? Or we are just saying because the noise is a lot, we are okay. We are not okay. Allow me to just put that. We are not okay. Responsiveness. We cannot have 35,000 registered members of East Park. And every time we have an annual seminar, we are dealing with 3,000. What happens to the 32,000? Which registration number are they carrying? Is it for the engineers? Which title are they carrying? Is it doctor title or CPA title? Yet, we have not developed them. We are okay. We must come out of that kind of comfort zone. East Park is not about operations and surviving. It's about achieving the mandate, making sure that every accountant has been trained. Had somebody said, Alliance is full, by the way, because it was full. The class I went to was full, but I was added. Had somebody not specifically picked me and added me there, that class would not have stopped running. But there wouldn't be a Florence today here. So then we must go down and pick the stratas. and make sure that we are responsive to every stature. We are not just responsive to those who are okay, but every stature. It means a lot. Accountancy is affecting every activity across the country, in the private sector, in the public sector, including households. And therefore, we cannot have accountancy of Mombasa City, accountancy of Nairobi City, and accountancy of Kisumu City, accountancy of Nakuru City. We need accountancy of Lamu County. Inclusivity, engagement and collaboration. I wrote a speech, but I kept asking myself, do I really need to read this speech? Because speeches sometimes are just sugar-coated stories, not addressing the real issues. We tell people what they want to hear. Waswahili wanasema unachukua jipu unalipa pasta, unasema ni pimple. We must stand up and boldly tell ourselves the truth. How many CPA examination centers are there in Kenya? Is there even a single CPA examination center in Lamu County? Those of us who have been cancelled, maybe you can answer me in the chat. Is there a CPA examination center in Lamu? Is there a CPA examination center in Tana River? And I'm just mentioning those two counties in Coast. I'm sure the situation is not that unique. If you go to the far-flanked counties, you will hear a similar story. Yet, there are some counties with loads of examination centers. We are told an examination center must have at least 100 students before it starts. Where will those 100 students come from? In Lamu. The cost of sitting a single section of CPA in Lamu, you cross Boni Forest. I'm sure most of us who sit in the boardroom have never even thought of that. When you go to Lamu, we take a flight. Some of us, when you go to Lamu, you drive. You reach Witu, you are told you cannot cross without a security officer, and you have to pay, even if you're on a motorbike. It's very expensive for that Kenyan in Lamu to just be a CPA Part 1. Inclusivity. We cannot have inclusivity when some counties are treated like they don't exist in the map of Kenya in as far as accountancy profession is concerned. That's not inclusivity. Here, Birya wengi wape in council one day. Trust God, I will make it into council because it's one of my targets to change the leadership policy. Inclusivity has to be a practical agenda, not a story on paper, not a well-researched presentation, then we come and tell people. Story ya kukumbaza? It's painful. So my agenda, responsiveness and inclusivity, is to make sure that whoever goes to sit in Casnet from council, that person is not supposed to go and present their own position and mind. They're supposed to carry the position and the mind of the Council of East Park. I will push and make sure that, as a matter of policy, together in a collaborative manner with Casnet, that there is a policy in this country, that in every county, there must be at least one CPA examination center. Mnataka governors watoe accountants wapi? Sisi accountants, tunataka governors watoe accountants wapi? You want the governor of Lamu to go to East Park and ask them for the list of accountants, and they pick one, and one will be Njoroge, another one will be Amweni, another one will be, I'm just saying randomly, okay? Another one will be a Florence, but who lives in Nairobi? They never go to Lamu. They don't even vote in Lamu because that is too far and very dangerous for them to live there. Then we lift them from there, take them to Lamu, and then they occupy the plum positions in Treasury. What happens to that governor in 2027? Ataenda kuomba kura kwa nani? Ataenda kuomba kura kwa wale watu wake ambao hawana accountancy professional qualifications, ama ataenda Nairobi wale aliwapatia kazi akaombe kura huko? I'm talking about engagement and collaboration in a meaningful way. ISPAC should be the last institution even to castigate governors when they get it wrong. We need to dig deep and find out what is ailing these governors. What is ailing the counties? How come their financial statements are not being signed by qualified accountants? We should not just judge them. We should develop a facilitative approach. I tell you, without even being facilitated to do the research, I did my own analysis. I picked where the problem is. Hakuna gavana wa Tana River ataenda kuchukua mtu Nairobi amwandike kazi, then next election atapigiwa kura na nani? They have to balance. The cake has been given, yeah, for Tana River. The equitable share has been given for Tana River. And then you want the governor to say there are no professionals in Tana River, akachukue malawyer, IHRM members, akachukue kila mtu kutoka Nairobi, I export sasa, I import alete. Then 2027, ataenda kuomba kura kwa nani? The same unqualified people. So instead of us sitting down and questioning governors every time, why they are not employing accountants, let us also embrace inclusivity. Let's avail accountants in Tana River. Let's avail accountants in Lamu by making sure that examination centers are set up as a matter of policy, not a favor. Let us have strong working field offices. We have branches. And I've put it there under collaboration and engagement. And I'm just going straight because I know people are a bit tired. And I don't want to lose my key message by reading a lot of sugar-coated stories in the form of speeches. That is never my business. I deal with issues. Solution-oriented. Focused. So if we have a branch, let us, for heaven's sake, capacity build and equip, facilitate, empower that branch so that it can effectively deliver the mandate of the institute. Because we've done the bulk of the work, there's a very small bit that is missing. We pay rent, we pay utility bills, okay? We have furnished the offices, but then who is running that office? Who is manning that office? Is it somebody who can engage effectively with the county commissioner? Is it somebody who can effectively engage with the governor, with the speaker of the county assembly? Or whenever there is a meeting with the speaker of the county assembly, somebody has to take a flight from Nairobi to that particular county to come and articulate an issue. Yet there is an officer, an office on the ground. When I joined ORPP, I was given that mandate of supervising field services coordination. And I was very passionate about ensuring that our services reach Kenyans on the ground wherever they are. And one of the things that we had to establish in policy was that that office would not demand with somebody with a qualification below a degree. Because qualification means a lot. And today, without bragging, we have very vibrant field offices. Very vibrant field offices. When I go to Garissa, I don't call the governor. I don't call the speaker. My young lady Ifra will be there and tell me, Madam, I've drafted a letter, please sign. I take it to the governor, to the speaker. And when I have an event, we'll even start with a courtesy call. And the governor will say, I have to come. That lady insisted I must attend. because the people you're going to address are my people. That's what she told me. So I must also address that. Let's put officers that have the capacity to effectively engage with the stakeholders at that level. It will be very cost effective, but also it will be a daily thing. And therefore it will be more impactful. I'm talking about transformation. We cannot do things the same way and expect different results.
Absolutely.
There's a lot that we can do. And the opportunities are enormous. But we must come out of the conventional ways of doing things. It's good to negotiate, but it's very important to put things in black and white. And that's why I talked about regulation. A lot of our employed accountants are suffering, especially those of us who are in government. We're suffering. You are employed as a director, treasury. Then after you leave your lucrative finance manager job, you go and become a director, for example, treasury. You think it's a promotion. Then after 2 months, you are transferred to become the director ECD.
What a shift.
Yes. And there is nothing that can be done. You know why? Because those accountants are not protected in regulation. If they were protected in regulation, I've never seen a teacher, even a primary school teacher, who has been transferred to go and become a nurse. Even if there is a nurse in that high school, you'll never see a teacher who has been deployed to become a nurse. You will never be. But accountants, what a people hivi. Because our roles are not protected in black and white. They need to be protected. Regulation. There is a place for negotiation. There is a place for sweet talk. And there is a place for hard decisions and properly anchor them in law. We need a regulation for accountants in employment. We need it. It should not be a favor that accountants are being treated by those who are employed. And I know the worst casualties are those employed in government. And with my deep knowledge, experience, both at technical and policy level, I believe that I will bring in a lot of value in ensuring that that is realized, it becomes a reality for accountants in public sector. There is no conflict. I want to put that record very straight. That if I'm working in government and they become a council member, I am conflicted. I cannot exercise independence. I cannot exercise objectivities. We have independent commissions in government and they're running independently. The Constitution is very clear. Once you've been appointed, then you are no longer, your allegiance is no longer to the appointing office. It is to the people and the Constitution of Kenya. So we know that. Give us the chance. I have a lot of wealth of experience in policy formulation. Where I am at ORPP, because that's a policy level I hold as a deputy registrar. I have, from the day I was employed, and I had about 3 months of learning to date, I was given the responsibility of steering policy development. And I've developed 17 policies, each policy with a corresponding SOP. Because you cannot have an institution properly anchored with all policies. Policies standardize operation. Policies create objectivity. It's not what I think. It's not about whether I want to do it for you or not. There's a policy which prescribes how things must be done. It's good governance. Integrity should not be left to those who have integrity as a value. At least it should be checked by professionals. about regulation formulation. And I think those of us who are at the ISPAC head office, they know. Every time they call for comments on draft amendment bills or bills that are being discussed in Parliament, and the input of ISPAC is required, CP Florence is always there, because that is my niche area. The ongoing amendment of the Accountants Act, I've actually done a memorandum. I did almost an 8-page memorandum. I read page by page, and they gave me memorandum. Probably some of you did not even realize in one of the committees being established, there was no vice chair. Okay? There is the appeals board, and I think the disciplinary committee, which is being reconstituted in law. There was no vice chair. There is that issue. How can you have a committee with a chair without a vice chair, or without a provision on how the members will elect a vice chair when they come into office? Does it mean when the chair is not there, there's no business running? It takes somebody who has experience perusing draft with a toothpick to see whether really these laws are serving the needs and aspirations of accountancy and accountants.
Absolutely.
There's some documents that I believe should never be outsourced to a consultant. One of them is a policy. The development of a policy should never be outsourced. Out of the 17 policies we've developed, we never outsourced even a single policy document development. And what has that done? It has actually developed the capacity of the officers. Because as they're doing it themselves, their capacity is also developing. And that is building internal capacity. We are talking about making operations of ISPAC efficient. And for me, I'm saying that is one of the ways. Innovation. It doesn't have to be technology alone. Okay? When you build internal capacity, because consultancies are very expensive. And if every document we are doing, we have to engage a consultant, we will increase the fees for CPD points and workshops, and we will never have a budget enough. My proposal is, let's build the capacity of the ISPAC staff. We have a sufficient pool of staff. Let's build the relevant capacities. Let them sit down and work. Okay? Let them sit down and work. And you know, they're very capable. Let's trust them with that responsibility. Let's trust the skills and the knowledge they have. And where there's some knowledge lacking, let's train them. And then we stop this business of consulting everything. Because we will never, with consultancy, you will never have a budget allocation enough. Every year it keeps going up. We're talking about global opportunities. There are very many global opportunities. But local opportunities are equally many. How have we seized local opportunities for accountants? That is one of my focus areas under engagement and collaboration. The moment we streamline legal framework, the moment we work in facilitation, because governors need to be understood. The moment we understand, you give the governor of LAM 5 accountants, 10 accountants from LAM, hatawaandika kazi, hatawaacha. Then we truly create opportunities for our young accountants. Where are these many jobless young accountants? Are they in LAM? Are they in Tana River? Are they in Turkana? They're not. Okay? Where there are more accountants, we build more. Kindly, I'm requesting. Let's diversify. Let's spread these accountants' engagement. So as we look for opportunities outside, let's also exhaust the opportunities within Kenya. Because this country called Kenya will not be developed by strangers. National development is a responsibility of Kenyans, including accountants. So we cannot say we'll focus on opportunities outside Kenya. Na hii Kenya itajengwa na nani? So Kenya anza kuleta wa China sasa because sisi tumeenda kwengine. It's our responsibility. Yes, there are opportunities out there, but we have to let's exhaust the opportunities within Kenya, because those are not just employment opportunities. They are opportunities for professionals to contribute in the national development of our country. And it's only us who can do it best. Those foreigners cannot do it like us because we do it with passion. They will not do it with passion. Accountability and professionalism. Where is the gap? We have very many CPD points opportunities, yet levels of compliance are still very low. What is the problem? Professionalism. Upholding the highest levels of professional practices and conduct. There is a difference between me having 40 CPD points and me properly being updated on my knowledge and skills to be able to comply with the standards of professionalism in the campus. And we need to strike a balance. For me, my analysis has given me that we have been focusing so much about you have 40 CPD points. This one has 50 CPD points. It's not about CPD points. It's about updating the knowledge. I went to campus. I left the University of Nairobi Lower Kabete campus School of Business in 1999. Today in Kenya, there's a new constitution. Today in Kenya, there's the PFM Act, which we were never taught. Today in Kenya, there's a new Procurement Act. Today in Kenya, we're talking about accrual accounting. I never did that for government. When I was being taught about government accounting, I was taught about cash basis, not accrual. So when somebody just holds kikapu kimejaa CPD points, lakini kwa kichwa hakuna which professionalism do we expect? What quality of accounts do you expect them to produce? When they ask questions in parliament, what kind of responses do you expect them to give? An embarrassment to the profession and to the institute. Yet they are also individually being humiliated. We need to save our members from that. We will call them and ask them very hard questions, including proposing we need to take disciplinary measures on these accountants who embarrassed the profession in Senate. That's where most of the governors are taken to. We need to develop a facilitative approach and not a caning approach. When we are looking at performance, accountability, when we are looking at accountability, sorry, I think I need to also look at the time. We're looking at accountability. At the end of the year, we need to ask ourselves, at the end of every event, we need to ask ourselves, how many accountants? We should not be recycling the same accountants. Accountability. When we are targeting to train 10,000 accountants in 1 year, how do we count the 10,000 accountants? Is it that we take seminar 1, seminar 2, seminar 3, we add? Or then do we do data analysis? Because every one of us candidates, we are talking about technology and innovation. How do we use that? When I train political parties, I even put them in cohorts because I know I cannot train all the 100 political parties in one room. So I'll say from number this to number this, cohort 1, this date, cohort 2, because I have to be sure I've trained all the 100. Not just 100 with some overlapping. And I'm saying the number totals to 100. No, I must touch each and every one of them. That is the clear approach. Integrity. Let's talk about integrity. Even in accountability, about integrity. It's very important. Integrity is about doing the right thing. Not because nobody's seeing you. Because we keep saying that integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody is seeing you. No. Integrity is about doing the right thing, even when nobody is seeing you. And when there is every opportunity, there is every pressure and temptation to do otherwise. Resist. ability to resist is what we really need to develop as accountants, whether in the institute or wherever we are. And corruption in this country will go low. We will have the moral authority to correct things. We have the power as accountants to change the direction of this country. We keep telling ourselves we are no longer the figure crunchers. We are advisors. I wish that was a practical statement, not a lip service. We see that, yet we see the things that continue to happen. Because most of us, we fear we might be victimized. What mechanisms we need to have for feedback, to hear views, and to make sure that every voice is considered when it comes to making decisions on the table. Technology and innovation. I don't think this one is a straightforward thing. Today, technology. It is either you align and exist, survive and thrive, or you resist and you perish. Okay? When I was coming here, I tried to do a speech, by the way. And I did my speech last night when I was in the train. Because third class is very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Okay? I could not sleep. And you know, some things are a blessing. So I told God, thank you. Because I cannot sleep, let me do. I had about 4 versions of my speech. AI. I even have some of the speeches in Kiswahili. Very good Kiswahili. AI. Technology. Shape in or shape out. We must embrace technology. And that technology is not because it is happening everywhere. We must embrace it meaningfully. Everywhere we are. Including in the institute, efficiency. Including where we are working as accountants. Are we adding that value? Are we assisting our organizations to achieve 3 times what it used to achieve with the same amount of budget because we have embraced technology? FCK Farhin here talked about during my tenure as a chair that I did a lot of Zoom meetings. And by the way, I never told you that I had to sit with my son to teach me how to host a Zoom meeting. I would tell kina FCPA that one, ngojeni kidogo nasaidiwa hapa host. Because I knew I had to survive. And until today, I do so many things using technology. I head the ICT department. And the ICT manager, I oversee. And the ICT manager, usually when he has a proposal, he has to come to me. He says, Madam is not an ICT expert, but she understands these things. I've taken time to research, to get information, and to embrace technology. A lot of things that we can achieve from there. And that should not be a story that we talk about. It's something that with my leadership in council, it will have to become a reality. Because if CPD points, cost has to come down, something must be done differently. Because I think the cry about costly CPD events is deafening. Even the deaf can hear, it is too loud. We cannot be that unresponsive. Coming in, I'll be very responsive, by the way. Very responsive. Because I know. I hold monthly meetings with all the field officers, virtually. When we have a new policy, we train everybody, virtually. We have never had a meeting where we're coming to train officers on a new document. We hold a virtual training, even if it's for 2 days. It's become very cheap to do these trainings. So CPD points must come down. Truth be said, we must be responsive. And they have a whole raft of proposals, practical strategies. And I'm saying this, and people, somebody asked me, unajua CPA ni vile hauko kwa council. Ukiwa kwa council, things will be different. I said, no, maybe with somebody else, not with me. When we have a national CPD seminar, we don't need every council member to come. I know they will say they don't all come, but somehow they come a lot. We can adjust that. Fellow council members today. I've been saying this, during my tenure, we tried it and we did it. That when we have an event, for example at the coast, we have the branch executive committee members. They can chair those sessions. We don't have to put somebody in a flight to come and chair a session. We have the committee, council committee members. Empower them. They can chair those sessions. We don't have to incur costs of putting somebody in a KQ flight. Alafu akuja alale White Sands for 5 days. Okay? I don't think free CPD points is tenable. It can happen once, twice, but not sustainable. But we can purposefully reduce the costs. Okay? Not about thinking about ourselves. And I will do it, by the way. I will do it. When I was the chair of Coast Branch, I got over 7 opportunities in the midst of COVID-19. FCP Dalton, did I appoint myself to anything? Did I? Was I a member of anybody that requested for East Park Coast Branch to nominate somebody? Was I a member? I was never. And even during your term, by the way, you were a member, but you were directly appointed by the governor because he saw the pro bono work you did. So, earn those positions, earn them yourself as a person, but we cannot be appointing ourselves everywhere. That's why members feel like this is not for us. I got a very plum opportunities at Mombasa County to appoint a member to the Mombasa County Public Service Board. Siningeandika to appoint wote?
Very fast.
Yeah, I was given that opportunity. I gave it to CPA Yusuf. I did not appoint myself. In Kwale, I was given 2 slots when the municipality boards were being established. Okay? And Kwale people, nobody knows. I would have appointed myself. I did not. I told these guys, mufanye huko venue fairness, munipatie majina, na everybody akwe yako sawa, mupost kwa mtandao, kila mtu aseme ni sawa, munipatie, niandikie FCPA Makori, the CEO then, that these are the people need to be nominated. That happened. I did not. Because I believe leadership is not about me. It is about the people.
Sure.
Yeah. And if I did it then, I can do it now. So I want to come to East Park asking for this opportunity to serve as a council member. Because at a time like this, I strongly feel within me I have something that can help East Park transform to what members, including Kenyans, are hoping to see in East Park. Not the only one. I believe I bring a blend. With my coming in, I bring a blend. I bring that rare mix that has always lacked. Not because of me alone, but 99 shillings without 1 shilling, you'll never have 100. I want to top up that mix so that it becomes perfectly 100. I bring in policy experience. I bring in legislative formulation, knowledge and expertise. I bring in very senior level public sector expertise. They say the wearer of the shoe knows where it hinges. We need a senior public sector officer in council to articulate very deep issues that accountants in the public sector are going through. There are some things you will never establish through a survey. Watu hawatakwambia. Watanyamaza. For fear of victimization, because they know. There are some issues when you articulate them. Nitakwambia hizi ni za ORPP. Hii ni ya Kilifi County. So somebody will fear. You need to have somebody who has been there, who is there to articulate them in council, so that we have inclusive decisions that favor everybody. In 2018, all heads of finance were sent home. All of them. And they said there's nothing like corporate corruption. Does it exist? There isn't. And the Constitution is very clear. You are innocent until proven guilty. Why were we sent home? And I raised that matter. Why were we sent home? I raised the matter, by the way, with my board. I raised the matter with the head of public service then, and believe me, I was not sent home. I continued working because I said, I have my constitutional rights. I was not sent home. And I asked myself, I think if I was in ISPA Council, I would have used the same vigor and the same argument, and probably I would have saved all the accountants. Who knows what will happen again next time? Okay. So we need somebody. I'm not saying one of our own, somebody from the public sector, senior, high level, policy, experience, like Florence. I've risen up the ranks. From accountant one to director of finance and administration. I know it all. I need to be there. There are some things we need to set straight, and it will be to the benefit of everybody. And by the way, I never shine above my bosses. I don't. I never shine above my bosses. That's not my business. My business is to transform, make change, and move on, not to outshine anybody. I do not exist to outshine anybody. I do not exist to make somebody's star dim. I exist to make my star brighter and make another person's star brighter. And together we have a very bright world where everybody is walking in freedom and in prosperity. So I will stop at that. And once again, ask for your vote. Vote CPA Florence Birya. I may not have a constituent in Coast to give me a winning vote, but my constituency belongs to the whole country. Give me the opportunity. Give me the opportunity. And we'll come to have another discussion later, and probably it will be another story of a successful and thriving ISPAC. You may have noticed I do not speak English with the tongue of the Queen or the King. Okay? But one thing I can promise you, CPA Florence Birya got the content.
Absolutely.
For the content. If need be, I am not ashamed to articulate my content in Kiswahili. It's a national language anyway.
Sure.
Vote CPA Florence Birya for ISPAC Council member. Vote the transformational leader. Vote the great agenda. Let's vote the great ISPAC that we all want, that is there for everybody, and for the national building of our motherland, Kenya. Thank you and God bless.
This is very deep. Standing ovation, ladies and gentlemen. Standing ovation. Remain there. You come and greet her. All of us. Now let's come forward. Let's greet CPA Florence Birya and wish her well. Let's hug her. Let's wish her well. William, you are here. Congratulations. We are going to take a full photo together. Stop here for a minute. CPA Emma, to back here for a minute. We are taking a group photo. together. As we celebrate CPA Florence on this particular launch of her great agenda. When the moja wanaingia sasa. Yes.
So we have
Okay. Nachukua group photo.
That's how she's doing.
Ongeza kidogo. Wanaingia. Hapo sawa. Kila kidogo. Tufurahi na CPA. Florence Birya, council member tarajiwa. Okay. Safari inaendelea. Here we are. Photographer, videographer, tunapata picha kali. Okay. Haya, naomba sasa tusimame ile still photo. Alafu tuendelea. Ingia hapa Norman. Kuna still photo. Okay. Hapo isicheze tupate picha tunaangalia kamera ya mwisho. Okay. Ngoja shikilia kidogo pale. Nikisema inspired by change, tunasema enabled by experience. Wacha tuone kama tumeshika. Inspired by change.
Enabled by experience.
Cynthia Florence Birya, inspired by change.
Enabled by experience.
Inspired by change.
Enabled by experience.
Who are we talking about? Cynthia Florence Birya for council. Wacha hiyo picha basi. Kama ni video kuna chukua.
No, anachukua.
Zote zinaenda.
Yes.
Where do you want us to repeat? Oh, in live, so you have no. Sema tuko live. Ndio share blessings. So Cynthia tupatie baraka za Mwenyezi Mungu aweze kupata hiki kiti, na sisi ndio ambao tutahakikisha amepata kiti hiki. Ladies and gentlemen, blessings Cynthia Florence for council of which institute?
Inspire.
Fantastic. Tuendelee tucheze pamoja sasa na tuweze kufurahi kwa pamoja.
Sawa, unaachilia muziki.
Very well. I've just been guided, and that's the power of the team. That's the power of the team. We want to officially, as Coast Branch, endorse the candidature of CPF Florence Birya. So, tunataka tuseme hivi, tutazungumza kwa pamoja. We shall say, we as the Coast Branch members officially endorse CPA Florence Birya for council member 2025 up to 2027. Sio imeenda sawa? Tunashika? Haya, tunaanza sasa. Wacha waweke recording ready. Okay. Are we good with CPA Emma? Coming live from Premier Inn Hotel on this beautiful 30th day of April, as we wrap April and get ready for the 1st of May. We are here. Now, this is where we take the declaration. We, as the Coast Branch members, we will take that again. I will say it then, Mshike tutarudia wote pamoja. We, as the Coast Branch members, do endorse CPA Florence Birya for council member 2025 to 2027 of the Institute of Certified Amamberekata. Sound. Okay. Coming live from Premium Inn Hotel in Mombasa on this 30th day of April, and we wrap the month, we've just listened to the great agenda. Therefore, we, as the Coast Branch members, CPA Florence Birya for council member 2025 to 2027. And all of us opinions say aye. Aye. Who got it? CPA Florence Birya. Now sitatumia mic yangu. Sawa. Okay. 10 minutes. 10 seconds. So I've put the microphone down. You're just saying, we as the ISPAC, we as the ISPAC The branch members do endorse CPA Florence Birya for council member.
Yes.
Hizo inatosha. Aye. Then ndio ilete mbwembwe for council member only.
Yes.
Clarify for me that one
Only.
as the only council member. Aye. Usikose. So hii tunaikata vizuri 10 seconds. Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Clear your voices. Let's go. We, as the Coast Branch members, do endorse CPA Florence Birya for council member 2025 to 2027. Hooray! Nacheza naye pamoja kidogo hapo kidogo, sekunde tatu.
Umeweka vertical ama
wa kufurahisha. God's blessings attract no sorrow.
Absolutely.
They come with joy.
Yes.
And they come with pleasure.
Yes.
And we are celebrating.
And I can pledge my loyalty to that. And as now we go out for voting, kindly let's vote for CPA Florence Birya. We have I'm not a public speaker, I'm an accountant. So don't need to have that. And may God bless you. Thank you.
A big round for CPA Marshall. Thank you for coming to support anti-CPA Florence Birya.
Thank you. And the last one, I want to bring forward the one and only Mr. Francis Runyelewa, the wonderful father of my children.
Very good, very good. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. This is ambush. And when you get ambushed, you duck under the table. Now, I'm not an accountant. However, when I just cleared the university, I went to